He's going to get the victory now. It's McLaren and Ricciardo that win the Italian Grand Prix.
The Formula One Grand Prix in Monza, Italy was dominated by Australians, with Australian drivers winning both the Formula One and F2 races. Perth-born Daniel Ricciardo added another trophy to his cabinet with his first win since 2018.
Yeah!
I'm still definitely riding a high from it, and I'm happy riding this high. I'm going to milk it as long as I can. Part of it sunk in, but completely, absolutely not. And I think as well, I haven't had a chance to actually just do nothing. It's just been go, go, go since the win, and it's going to be go, go, go probably for the next 5 days. So maybe next week it'll sink in. I mean, days like Sunday are definitely my favorite part of the job. When you win, you see the atmosphere and the joy from every single team member and everyone around you who supports you, cares for you. And it's so much bigger than just that. This is the coolest feeling ever, and I've been able to contribute to this feeling. So I guess that's why I do it.
The win's been a long time coming for the Australian driver, and he celebrated in his signature style.
The shoey, I feel that was a way to break a little bit the mold. There was too often where I saw a podium that was just not that exciting. I'm like, dude, you're on the podium, you won or you've come top 3 in a Formula One race. Show some emotion.
Ricciardo rose to fame when he began racing in 2011 alongside fellow Aussie Mark Webber. The win comes weeks after a major milestone for Ricciardo.
It's my 200th Grand Prix. kind of a deal.
It's I've got the reputation over the years of being a good overtaker, and so it's he's the nice guy, but with that killer instinct, the smiling assassin. I'm sure people probably say I've got the biggest smile in F1s.
But it hasn't all been highs. The 32-year-old has learned a lot on the past few years on the grid.
The sport is really challenging, and I've commented I've fallen in and out of love with it because the win ratio in this sport is so small. You're always going to have probably more bad days than good days. It's just the nature of the beast. And I learned a little bit about that with myself, that the bad days I can actually get the most out of myself and find the most clarity.
Since Mark Webber left in 2013, Ricciardo's been the only driver representing Australia on the F1 grid.
Yes, there's in a way pressure, but I'm also I love that. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a show-off. I was a show-off as a kid. I love trying to be the guy to represent, the country.
But Ricciardo may not be the only Aussie enjoying a shoey on the podium for long. A 20-year-old Melburnian won the F2 race in Monza and is currently in first place in the overall championship.
It's Oscar Piastri who sees the checkered flag first.
There's a couple of Kiwis in the field, but they're not quite the same. So, yeah, it's nice to be the only Aussie, and it's it's always an honour to be able to represent Australia on the world stage. I started racing karts when I was about 10 or 11, which is probably a little bit later than most people by a few years. Before that, I actually raced remote control cars from when I was about 6.
And the young Aussies being mentored and managed by none other than Mark Webber.
That's pretty cool, and that's not something that I can ignore. Even if we are working on a professional level, it's still very cool to be able to work with Mark, and it's what's the word? It makes me feel safe that I'm in good hands. That's for sure.
Despite their success, Daniel Ricciardo and Oscar Piastri agree that it's tough getting into the industry from Australia.
We're not leaving our beautiful country for nothing. We're also probably quite stubborn, so I think once we're set on our path, then it's hard for anyone to sway us away from that.
I think being in Australia is a bit of a blessing and a curse. I've been to a lot of countries now, and it's still by far my favourite.
As for what's next for the 2 Australian drivers?
That is a very good question, and I have no idea what the next year holds for me at the moment. You're as much in the dark as I am at the moment.
In the very short term, hopefully some sleep. That's what's next.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 7:30's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.